Welcome to Story Comic Presents, where we interview amazing storytellers and artists. This is episode 285. I'm your host, Barney Smith of StoryComic.com, and we're excited to have back with us the highly acclaimed and talented British comic creator, Markus Pattern.
Hiya.
Markus.
Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for having me back, man. Much appreciated. Much appreciated.
So last time we talked, it was almost over a year. I think it was over a year ago. I believe it was May of last year when you were on, and you were talking about your 13 shots of whiskey series,
Yeah.
and it was, we did talked about the neo noir episode, that the issue that you did called Burnt Ends. But you've been busy since then. You have now put out 2 issues of Here Comes the Dragon Punch.
I have done, yes. Well, yes. The second issue, depending, was released. It's going to be released on Webtoons and Patreon in about 9 hours. So yeah, I've literally just finished it.
Wow.
and prepped it up and put it out there. Yes, I have. But the first issue is out now. But both, as you can see, in a cracking digital physical copy, and which has got like the first issue plus a couple pages of issue 2 and some extra artwork in there. And if you go via my Patreon account, you can get both the first and second issue, with some behind the scenes shenanigans and making of and stuff. And via my Etsy, you can get like just the digital copy with no behind the scenes shenanigans. But there's some extra artwork in there just to
Right.
just because I like drawing extra artwork, if I'm honest with you.
Folks that have been following you for a while and stuff, that really enjoyed your previous series. How is Here Comes the Dragon Punch different from your anthology series that you were doing?
Well, one thing, it's not opaquely dark. It's more family friendly and family orientated.
Okay.
There's no, it's all safe for work and everything. And the humor in it is more pronounced, and it's also, I suppose, like, because there's humor in 13 Shots of Whiskey, but it can be quite dark and quite,
Right.
like 13-year-old edgelord, whereas this is like 13-year-old, like, I'm into manga, funny kind of thing. And but my basic my excellent storytelling skills of kind of like movement and stuff are in there, and obviously, as you can see, it's now in color. So but I mean, like other people who've read this said, like, they can see elements of myself in there.
Okay.
If they've read previous works, but also, like, I am playing with a different set of skill sets and everything.
So because basically your previous stuff, one of your running themes of your previous works is that you always seem to have a flawed protagonist, a flawed hero in this. Does this kind of still follow that same Markus Pattern-esque?
No, uh, the main characters in it, well, Omar will be a flawed character and stuff, but Ash and August, they're more of my kind of energetic, kind of hyper kind of characters. I mean, they will have flaws and everything, because otherwise they wouldn't be characters and stuff. But they're not bad people doing bad things, or they're not anti-heroes. They're straightforward heroes.
Okay.
Because one of the reasons for it is because so the cat doing the jumping there, he's Omar, and the Ash is the other one with the ninja hat. I'm pointing at, like, you can see what I'm doing. The one with his the one with his fists up. That's Ash, and the one in you can see them there. The top one, that is Ash, and they're non-binary and everything. And I was listening to not Jesse Gender, but like another one of the, like, LGBTQ plus YouTubers and stuff, and they were saying like how it would just be nice to have a trans character who the story isn't that they're trans, the drama isn't that they're trans, that they could just be a superhero
Right.
kicking butt and taking names. And I thought, well, that'd be quite cool. And
Right.
there's a whole load of kind of negative stereotypes and tropes evolving around just like they're there to be fridged and stuff. And it's like, well, I don't want to do that. I want to have one of
Right.
my bubbly kind of characters just be going through and learning about themselves and stuff. So like, so hence the reason for why they're not in any kind of really dark storylines, because there are plenty of dark storylines involving members of the LGBTQ plus fraternity, and it's case of like they don't need to hear that from me. They
Right.
don't need that kind of drama. Just like it just needs like everyone needs that. Everyone needs to be like see themselves as like a teenage mutant ninja turtle kind of thing, and that's what
Right.
these characters are.
So give us a little bit of synopsis of Here Comes the Dragon Punch.
So here comes the Dragon Punch. It's basically a is a kung fu parkour baking extravaganza in which the first issue is split into two halves. So like in the first half of the issue, you get like Ash and August. They're meeting up for pizza because they're really good friends and stuff, and then they see like a rival member of a rival dojo, and they're like,
Hmm.
what's going on here and stuff, and they crash the Jakob's dojo's tournament, and then they compete in it and stuff, and that's where we get all the action and stuff, and they discover at the end of it they discover a thing called the Dragon Flame, and it's like, and then but Ash's dojo, teacher hasn't been teaching them about the flame or nothing, and it'll be Ash's storyline going from on now, how like as to why that is, and then how they can harness it after being taught a bunch of bad habits and stuff, and then August is also storyline will be about how she can harness it as well, and learn to be like a good fighter and stuff, because like she's raw talent and everything at the moment, but
Right.
like how can that be molded and sculpted and so she become a proper fighter and everything. And Omar is on the hunt for a MacGuffin that is very important, and I do know what it is about, but it'd be a spoiler for me to tell you now. You're gonna have to wait
Hmm.
a few issues for that to come out. But yeah,
Right.
so basically, it's kind of just it's a kind of a like kind of a shonen jump manga kind of thing. I'm I've rediscovered my love of like kind of like uh, TMT, and like and I got had the shonen out for ages, and like I'm like cut me and I'm like I bleed Dragon Ball Z and stuff, and it's kind of just letting all that kind of out and everything, and like and so so that's basically the story. But one of the reasons why the comic looks the way it does is because I like it's I'm trying to experiment and use the medium of comics as as a medium. Hence the reason for the directional stuff and the and also like it's penciled with digital inks because I want
Hmm.
to turn it around as quickly as humanly possible. And one of the things I can draw quite quickly and quite well is kung fu and running and yes I'm not perfect at it, but it's an easy enough thing for me to do. So like I needed a reason to draw something that um I can draw quickly while also having a storyline, while also experimenting and growing as an artist and stuff. And in between doing 13 shots of whiskey, but the burnt ends, I did I'm part of a anthology called Containment Breach, which will be
Oh, right. Yeah.
which is about to be kickstarted and stuff. And I had to learn how to color quite complicated stuff, but also it's like I could either do something bare basic here, and it'll just be like kind of paint by the numbers, or I can stretch myself, and color isn't my natural forte. I'm more of a black and white kind of cat, but like it's like, okay, so
Right.
what can I do here? And it's like and in it like I like like Steven Universe is one of my favorite things,
Oh yes, yeah,
and it's like, and their backgrounds are just drop dead gorgeous. And I was like, how can I, if I can just do paint by the numbers, or I can try and paint this in a like a like a like someone who paints backgrounds would approach it and stuff like. So I was channeling my inner like Steven Universe and Gendo Takarowski and stuff, and it was case like, oh, this, and it was a case of, I'm quite proud of this. And then okay, cool. I can take this, what I've learned here, and put that into into a comic. And then I drew a fan comic in which Raphael. I basically I discovered the watercolor feature on Clip Studio. So
yeah,
I was doing Raphael versus Ken from Street Fighter, and I drew this page and watercolored it within like the space of like an hour and a half, maybe two, and it looked dope. And I was like, this is really good. If I can do that, I can make a comic page within I can make a comic page within 2 hours. How
mm,
cool would that be? And then I could have a comic book done within like a week, and I'd be a god amongst comic book artists. And so that's the plan with this, was to kind of do it in that style. But like for whatever reason, the alchemy of doing the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Street Fighter comic 2 pager didn't really translate to doing it on like a full scale. So okay, so I kind of dropped doing the watercolor thing, and it's like, so, well, I'm still enjoying doing color and stuff. So how can I color the backgrounds and stuff, and how can I make it more interesting? How can I channel my inner Matt Hollingsworth and Dave Stewart, and just go like, here you go, here's something that's interesting and textured and isn't dull
right,
and flat and everything. So it's basically been a learning curve, and how I can, because like, basically coloring a comic can be quite a cool and joyous affair. Like, 'cause it's just, you learn quite a lot of things,
right.
and you can change them. But like the initial process of kind of like of flattening a comic is so very very dull and very
Yeah,
very boring, and just the worst thing to do in comic making. That's why when you get colorists, they hire some poor little sap to do it for them. I don't have the money to hire some poor little sap to do it for me. It's a case of, how can I do this as quickly as humanly possible? So then, and that's, I think I've got the rhythm of that now. But like, yeah, so that's, but like, and then like once you've done that, you can editing
yeah.
and building on top of it, and that's been really fun to learn.
Is this like a superhero, or there's superpowers on this, or this is because you mentioned kind of like an anime?
Yeah, there will be like some characters will have like yes, basically they'll be strong, and they'll be be able to harness the dragon flame, and you know
Okay,
beating kind of take beatings without being like proper like beaten up and bloody and everything, because this is a this is a family a book. I don't want to go too dark in it and stuff, and like,
right,
it looks cool to have like the flames flare up and everything. So yeah, basically,
right.
and yeah, that's the general gist. It's so like yeah, but not every character will have it and stuff. So it'll be kind of just, it won't be constant like, oh well, Goku just flame on and everything. In the case of like, that's Johnny Storm. It won't be that. There'll be some nuances to it and stuff.
Right.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
unless I get really bored and just start draw flame particles all over the place, which is another thing like was cool to learn, because basically drawing fire is surprisingly difficult kind of thing, because like it's an organic thing, and it's just like, 'cause it doesn't, you need not one flame looks the same as the other, and just trying to get my noggin around that and draw that consistently so it looks cool while also kind of doing what flames are meant to do. It's still another learning experience.
So how long did it take you kind of to create this meta plot, this storyline on this?
Like, I'm kind of getting lost in the weeds of like the minutia of the story and everything, and I'm
Mm,
like, life's a bit hectic and chaotic over here. I mean, I don't know if you've been reading the news, but like life in this country is just absolutely terrible. That's not even remotely important in the story. The story is that there's someone goes along and kicks another person in the face,
Right.
That's the story, and you need to come up with a compelling reason as to why that happens. Everything else is just kind of gravy, and then just like kind of like, oh, how do I do this? And I kind of get lost in the weeds. It's like, no, 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 no. It's just running back basic storytelling, Marcus. So free plot structure, point A to point B to point C, and then how do we get here? How can we make it entertaining and stuff? Have you made it
Right.
entertaining? I've been all over the place, so like the story creation has been a bit all over the place, and it's just been really hard. Everything, all the questions that you're asking, they don't need to be answered now. They can be answered
Right.
later because the story at the moment is why is Ash in August competing in a tournament to learn about the Dragon Flame.
Mm.
The story is Omar tracking down the parcel and retrieving it, and you know, and then you get to draw him running about and then kicking someone in the face and then doing some more running because you quite like drawing people running, and that's the storyline. And then you get
Right.
to create this really cool hyena character that you have no idea what you're doing with, looks dope, and you haven't done a proper turnaround sheet for her, but it's gonna be cool in the end. These are the
Right.
things that, yeah. So I'm trying to be more like character driven than say, yeah, this character here. Like I've drawn, like I haven't done a proper character sheet for them, but like I keep drawing them in places, and I need to at some point draw a character sheet for them. Otherwise, I won't be able to draw them in the comic proper. Like that's more of a complicated design than I should have come up with. But
Is this an ongoing series, or is there a limited series like it ends after like issue 10 or issue
uh,
6 or anything?
it's so the first four issues are kind of are an arc and everything.
Right.
So like that will culminate with August's first like proper match tournament type of thing. The second arc will involve Ash discovering their dragon flame and traveling the world and stuff, and then it'll also probably involve Omar. But like one of the things I want to do with this is kind of experiment with like the medium the medium as a medium as a medium as a medium as a medium, because I know how one puts one out, because like I'm releasing this on webtoons, but I've never really done a webtoon comic before. It's like,
Okay.
and like I've basically just been putting the pages up there on there and everything, and it looks okay to me, but like it's like you got the infinite scroll thing on there. It's like, okay, so how can I utilize that and make that cool? So
Right.
there will be like kind of subplots that will be, I'll just release specifically for the webtoon and everything. That won't be part of the main story, but because we experiment and go like, well, how to how I can direct the eye so it's constantly traveling down, because like I'm an old man. I didn't grow up with webtoons, and I don't really understand how the perspective can go, but I want to learn how to do it. And then
Right.
like also of Instagram, like it's basically like a com like a panel like a comic strip kind of thing, so like you slide across, and okay, so how can I make a story that will fit in, like how can I make a like comics that will fit in that way? And it's like, what if I so my idea for that is to kind of like do like the Dave Lapham approach, where like you've got 8 panels on a page that they will, I think, fit quite well into the aspect ratio of an Instagram story. So you flick across, and then that's how, and so like you drive the action that way. So that's like, things like how I don't necessarily need to release like physical copies or like the 22-page comics and stuff. I can release other formats and stuff, and because after issue 4 comes out and stuff. That's one of the cool things about having so many characters and stuff, that they don't all need to have like massive sprawling arcs. I can have small kind of contained issue stories that I can release on the different mediums to learn how to release on the different mediums. Like I have I have like an entire plot points based for like there's 3 characters above Omar's head there who are in the same kind of bandana kind of thing. I know
Right.
their backstory. I know who they
Yeah.
are, and I know how they will progress in the plot. And I know I don't need to have like it be like a massive tome. I can just have that be like kind of like, well, it'll either be on the Instagram page stories, or it'll be in it'll be in webtoons or whatever, or like I've got a Substack. I can release it via that way. Just there's more kind of like experiment in the way I can release it, as opposed to, as well as doing like kind of like I can return to it and do like, well, here's a two comic arc, like here's the two issues I got, or basically like what Mike Mignola did, where like he released the um not the Crooked Man, the Corpse, in
Right.
2 page segments over like a space like 4 issues of like what comics journal or whatever. Just how I can how I can experiment, and just without having to be like, I'm going to be doing like a like 4 issue run and everything. I don't know if I answered your question there. I think I answered 5 questions that might have been fun, but like, and also like with having so many different characters and stuff, like I can go back and just, and like say for example the geezer with the purple visors in between Omar's legs and hand. He's a safe breaker, so he's a proper criminal. So
Right.
I could do a dank, dark like storyline, like how like when TMT released a really violent story with Raphael and stuff. He could be my
Mm.
character that I do that with. So I could go I could different segments. I can go really really hard and really really violent and really really bleak and nasty if I wanted to, or I could go completely other way and have kind of more lighter sort of affairs, because like it's it's a universe, and it doesn't necessarily have to be bright and rosy on one side of it. Because
So what's next for Here Comes the Dragon Punch?
so next thing is, so like as I said, issue 2 is out now.
Mm. Right.
I've got a comic. I'm attending the art festival Lakes Comic Convention in the end, at the very end of September, beginning of October, and my plan is to basically draw the next 2 issues of Here Comes the Dragon Punch as quickly as humanly possible, while also telling a riveting story that you want to read. And then I'm going to release that as like a combined, like kind of tank and barn graphic novel kind of thing. Where so the first 4 issues are in are physically released, and so that will be, and that will be the first arc of Here Comes the Dragon Punch, in which August um, learns to be a better, is on a is on her path to be learning to be a better fighter and stuff. And then yeah, so that's the kind of written, planned out projection for Here Comes the Dragon Punch. Like issue 2 is out now via my Patreon, and I'll be releasing the chapters for free via webtoons uh webtoons Substack and on my art station. And say hopefully in about like a month's time or whatever, I
Mm.
should have issue 3 up and ready on the Patreon, with, and then hopefully about a month after that, which I think will take me up to just about like the just up to the comic convention. I in theory should have the physical copy of the book ready to sell. Like I'm kind of really tight, but like hopefully I can do it. What's the point in trying something impossible if you're not going to achieve it?
Right.
So
And
yeah.
so, and how are you? Are you looking at having this? How many issues do you see rolling out every year?
I mean, I mean, I'm not 100% sure on that. I mean, I
Mm.
have plans. I mean, I have plans for up to about issue 6, but my because I'm, instead of trying to being plot driven with these, I'm trying to be a bit more character driven. So it's a case of like, so it might be a 4 6 issues, it might be 10 or whatever, just depending on
Right.
how it plays out. But like also like I do want to get back and do basically I've got a file under me in which I've got 2 other stories. I've got one that is specifically another 13 shots of whiskey thing that I want to do, and another like might be within the universe of 13 shots of whiskey, or just might be just like I've got a really really dark and dank story in me that I really want to get out, that just would not be appropriate for Here Comes the Dragon Punch. So like
Right.
I'm not too sure whether I'm gonna just if I'm going to stick in this, like, I'm basically going to see how well it does. If
Right.
nobody cares, if this doesn't get, if no one signs up to the Patreon, if no one subscribes on Webtoons, if basically if all I hear from Crickets is this, then the four issues plus in the graphic novel plus a couple of side strips is kind of good enough for me, because
Right.
basically it's out there, and if people can return to it and go, oh, I quite like this, and then and then it's nothing to stop me from picking it up again. But like it, one of the good things about being an independent creator and doing this all on my own is I can pivot, I can pivot. If this doesn't work, I can shift over here. If it does
Yeah.
work, I can stay in this lane for as long as I want, because I
Right.
own the characters and I own all the properties and stuff. Like, I can, and as provided I do the proper job of getting out there and selling myself and getting myself out there and stuff, and not being like, oh, woe is me, why is no one loving me and stuff. As long as I kick that stupid side of myself to go, like, no, 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 as long as I'm in salesmanship mode, what
Right.
are in between drawing comic mode, and I can be like, I can do this for as long as I want, or I don't want, and you never know. It might, because like it might be a case of this is the thing that I stick my flagpole in, and hopefully in a few years' time, this will be like a success, and I can look in my daughter's eye and go, look, Daddy's a success. This will
Right.
be whatever residuals will be for you when you're older and stuff. Like Hellboy isn't for Mike Mignola; it's for his kid.
Right.
This is
Yeah.
what this is his legacy to her and stuff, and like the same with Eastman and Laird. This is their legacy. It's been shown to be able to be done. I mean, there's loads of people who have just fallen by the wayside. I understand I'm not a lucky guy. I understand that, like, just like it's like a lot of it's to do with luck, not just to sitting down and drawing and stuff. But like, I yeah, it's just like I would like it. I like being in this place. I like living in this universe. I like the characters I've created. Like in the second issue, there's this character I created called Claire, and I just really like her design. I like her fighting style. Everything about her skills. Like I would like to draw. I would like to spend quite a long time just drawing this chick, doing capoeira and stuff, and just being
Right.
looking dope and everything, and like I would,
Right.
and I've got another character called the Apostle who I've come up with, who is one of my flawed characters and stuff. So like, it'd be nice to explore him and everything, and it's just
Hmm.
just like, like I'm coming up with loads of character designs and character ideas. And, like, it'd be nice to just take them and run with them and explore them, and. But again, if it doesn't happen and people are like, nah, this isn't for us, fam, go back and draw people getting eaten by stuff, I can do that too. I'm not, I'm willing to, I'm willing to go with the flow.
Right. Good. So Marcus, if people want to learn more about your work, where's the best place they could go to?
Well, I'm obviously on Instagram,
Right.
and I've just recently discovered TikTok that seems to be doing quite well for me, and
Oh, good.
um, I've got a Substack which I've been neglecting, and yeah, Webtoons and Patreon, obviously. So yeah, all of which is
Right.
like either Markus Pattern with a K or Markus Pattern Draws. So yeah, that's basically
Okay.
where I am. I'm no longer on Twitter because that became really bad for my mind, my mental state. So every time I go on there, like I would waste so much of my time, and then I'd feel bad, and then it would just like, and it'd just be loads of things like just every Sunday there would be something massively transphobic. Because so I'm not here for this noise. I'm here to
Right.
be in the art community and make friends, not be angry at stuff. No, so I'm in two minds about this whole Threads thing or Blue Sky. So hopefully you can just see me do stuff on Instagram and TikTok, and then because that's about as much of my mental bandwidth can take. I've been thinking about heading over to doing proper stuff on Twitch, but like I don't know, like I need, there's a performance aspect to it that, like, if I'm concentrating drawing and stuff, I can't really talk to people and everything. So hopefully in the next, once I figured that out, you can see me over there as well as my
Okay.
YouTube channel, which I haven't updated either. So basically follow me on Instagram and Patreon and TikTok, and that's where I am.
And we'll have all those links from the show notes of where they can where people can find you then, Marcus. So
Thank
perfect.
you. You're a saint,
But
man. Oh, but
all
again,
right, well
one thing
thank
I should mention before I
yeah.
shuffle off, I'm doing. I had mentioned it, but there's the Containment Breach Volume 4. Uh,
Yes.
that's been released. I think it's it's been launched. Or it's in pre-launch. I don't know if it's been launched, but it's been. You can go along and get notified and stuff. And also, you've talked to Christian D.
Right.
Yes,
Yep.
before, yeah,
Yep.
yeah, that
Yep.
geezer.
Yep.
So yeah,
He's been on a couple of times. Yep. Yep.
he's a cool cat.
Perfect.
Yeah.
He is. Well, thanks a lot, Marcus. It was great talking to you again.
Great talking to you too, man. Thank you, and have yourself a tip-top day, man.
Ho, 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 ho. Yeah, that one was yeah, so this was like I don't know, like 3 months ago I took this picture. So
Yeah.
yeah. And that was just like their new release wall. So yeah.
I promise I
Yeah.
won't be just staring at the books as you're talking to me. I mean, I'm going to promise to try.
Yeah.
Cool,
All
cool.
right.
Anyway,
Let me do the intro.
yeah.
All right.